I've never been more bullish. I think that all the indicators are very auspicious. Um, if we look at the situation we're in right now, I think there's never been more clarity or differentiation for Bitcoin as the dominant crypto asset than today. I think we've got pretty good clarity and universal consensus that Bitcoin is an asset without an issuer, that it's a global asset, that it is a non-sovereign store of value strategy for someone seeking to escape currency debasement.
MicroStrategy Executive Chairman and former Chief Executive Officer Michael Saylor says he's never been more bullish on Bitcoin. This statement is a big deal coming from any prominent figure, but a huge deal from Saylor, a successful business executive in charge of a firm that has already invested over $4 billion in the leading crypto asset. Saylor made this revelation during a recent interview with Polish journalist and Bitcoin podcaster Natalie Brunell. During the interview, Saylor declares that there has never been a better time to invest in Bitcoin. According to the MicroStrategy Executive Chairman, everything is aligning perfectly for Bitcoin. Everyone from U.S. regulators to lawmakers and presidential candidates are talking about Bitcoin and how it can help revolutionize the financial system and the future of money. Saylor also mentions the involvement of BlackRock and its highly influential chief executive Larry Fink in the Bitcoin space. After his asset management firm applied to offer a spot Bitcoin ETF, Fink granted a slew of interviews during which he highlighted how much the world needs the leading crypto asset. During his interview with CNBC, the BlackRock chairman said, "Over the last 5 years, more and more global investors are asking us about the role of crypto. As I said, I do believe a lot of crypto is an international asset. It has a differentiating value versus other asset classes, but more importantly, because it's so international, it's going to transcend any one currency and currency valuation." Fink talked about how much the value of the dollar has depreciated over time, adding that Bitcoin, an international crypto product, can really transcend that. Fink also appeared on Fox Business, where he described Bitcoin as digital gold. He explained that tokenizing assets and securities is the next revolution for the financial industry, and that his firm is optimistic about making investing more accessible with its ETF offerings. According to Michael Saylor, the exposure Fink provides will be superb for Bitcoin. That, added to every other thing that is happening in the space, makes Saylor extremely bullish, even more than he has been over the past few years. As we bring you clips from Saylor's interview with Brunell, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out our other videos from Saylor and other prominent figures in the cryptocurrency industry. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
I think the fact that Larry Fink, running the world's largest asset manager, vocalized all those ideas on public television of late was a milestone for the space. I think the second milestone for the space is the groundswell of positive sentiment for Bitcoin, both in the form of overall crypto positivity and Bitcoin positivity. The statements by Ron DeSantis emphatically supporting your right to Bitcoin, the statements by Robert F. Kennedy emphatically supporting your right to Bitcoin, the disclosure that Kennedy actually purchased a bunch of Bitcoin for his children publicly is a big step forward. I think the fact you have two other presidential candidates, Mayor Suarez and Ramaswamy, also announcing support for Bitcoin, I think those are really big deals. So that, combined with the regulators endorsing it, the CFTC and the SEC, combined with the tone and treatment of mainstream media. If we look at the treatment of Bitcoin in the mainstream media, both across CNBC, Fox, Bloomberg, the Wall Street Journal, the Times, and the like, I think you could see a market rotation of sentiment over the past 2 years, from one of incredulity and suspicion and fear and concern to respect, either a grudging respect or this, or I guess this thing is more than we thought it was. So that sentiment has changed. I think it's pretty clear that there is support for Bitcoin in both parties, in the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, and at the White House level. And I think there's obviously has been universal support for Bitcoin across the crypto ecosystem. And the regulatory developments of the past 6 months, if anything, they've increased uncertainty around everything else in crypto. The crypto exchanges, the cryptocurrencies that are stable coins, the crypto securities, the crypto tokens, the crypto exchanges and DeFi networks. The uncertainty there is still there, if not greater, but they've increased the certainty around Bitcoin. All of the companies, the large financial companies filing for a spot ETF, companies, all the Bitcoin miners continuing to operate, companies like MicroStrategy and asset managers, all of them moving forward with Bitcoin. I think that's been very auspicious.
Another important factor Saylor believes will increase the interest and participation of institutional investors in the Bitcoin space is the long-awaited proposed changes by the Financial Accounting Standards Board, FASB, to how companies report their crypto holdings. Earlier in the year, the board introduced a proposal to account for crypto assets at fair value, with any changes recognized in net income during each reporting period. Currently, the board treats crypto as indefinite-lived intangible assets. As a result, companies like MicroStrategy must evaluate the worth of their crypto on an annual basis and make a downward adjustment if the value of their crypto holdings falls below the purchase price. The adjustment is reported as an impairment charge, and for a company like MicroStrategy runs into billions of dollars when Bitcoin is down. According to Saylor, the proposed changes will be a game changer and it's coming by the end of the year or at the latest in 12 months. Here are more clips from Saylor's interview.
I feel like we're at an inflection point. It's a point at which you have the most information to conclude that Bitcoin is a differentiated international asset, store of value, and digital commodity, and unique in the world and useful to the world. You have the most information to conclude that. And yet, the ability of the retail public and the ability of institutions and governments is still largely impaired to act on that. It's very difficult for a retiree with a pension fund to make an investment in Bitcoin. It's very difficult for a large corporation to invest in Bitcoin. It's difficult for a sovereign wealth fund. It's difficult for a government. It's difficult for a hedge fund. And so you have an example where you know where the world is headed. You know what the world needs. Rational people will eventually get there. You also have a list of reasons why it's difficult, right? Why is it difficult? It's difficult because the accounting is indefinite and intangible instead of fair value. So you have a challenge and you have a solution, a process to create fair value accounting with the end of the tunnel clearly in view. If it's not happening by the end of the year, it's happening within 12 months. You have a challenge. I can't buy a spot ETF. You have a solution. You have a host of spot ETF applications. You have a challenge. We need a digital assets exchange to be transparent and regulated. You have a solution, surveillance agreements. Coinbase has already agreed to a surveillance agreement publicly with half a dozen or more of these ETF filers. You have a process. The SEC, the CFTC engaged in bringing exchanges into compliance. So you have all these challenges to action. You have all of these solutions in play. It's really just a matter of which quarter, how many quarters does it take before we put all the solutions in play. When the rails go in place, then there's a huge amount of capital that will flow against a limited supply. We have a large pool of capital that would love to be in the space, but they can't easily do it without things like Bitcoin securities or spot ETFs. And so that's going to be a big catalyst for demand. And we already know it's coming, and it hasn't come, which means it has not reflected itself fully in the price. Now, on the other side, we have two facts about supply. We know that there will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin. That's the overarching important first order fact. And the second order fact we have is that there's a halving coming that will cut the supply that the miners have available to sell in half, and that's nearly $5 billion a year worth of supply. And then we have a third order fact. The third order fact is if large institutions can now comfortably own Bitcoin on their balance sheet, they're going to buy it and hold it forever, and the people that hold it now aren't going to want to sell it. So the supply available for sale from existing holders is going to decrease. The supply available for sale from miners is going to decrease. And yet the demand to purchase it will increase.
Michael Saylor is not the only one who is optimistic about the involvement of Larry Fink and BlackRock in the crypto space. Galaxy Digital Chief Executive Officer Mike Novogratz recently described it as the most important thing to happen to Bitcoin in 2023. According to Novogratz, Fink's change of heart is the best thing to happen to Bitcoin. During a recent interview with Bloomberg, Novogratz said, "I think the most important thing that happened this year in Bitcoin is Larry Fink." Novogratz also predicted that Fink's change of heart about Bitcoin and the increasing adoption of cryptocurrencies could easily help Bitcoin surpass its 2021 all-time high of $69,000. What are your thoughts on Michael Saylor's interview? Please drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.